Okay guys, today we will talk about variance analysis. I will cover it in two videos. The first video is introduction about variance analysis, and the second video is questions. We will solve questions regarding the variance analysis. So let's start. Before studying variance analysis, let's go back and talk about standard before that. So to understand what is variance, first we need to understand what is standard. So before watching this lecture, you should know what a standard is. But as a reminder, I will give you the definition of a standard. You might have heard that standard is a yardstick through which we measure the performance. So what is a yardstick? A yardstick means, in Pashto we call it gauze. So gauze is used to measure the clothes. In the same way, a standard is used to measure the performance. So why do we need standard? Because of the control. If we don't have standard, people will do whatever they want. So because of that reason, we have standards. So what is a variance? Variance is doing against the standard. So yeah, let's see. So if we look at the meaning of variance, variance means change. So, change. So, according to this chapter, it is change from the budget. We set a standard or a budget, and if we don't achieve that budget, if we do different than the budget or the standard, it is called variance. So variance can be good, variance can be bad. So what is a good variance? A good variance would be two things. Either it is decrease of cost. What I mean is that our cost is less than the standard, so it is a good variance. Or it is increase of income. So if our income is more than the budget, then it is a good variance. No? If our cost is less than the budget, it is a good variance. So what would be a bad variance? Bad variance is, it could be increase of cost. We have incurred more costs than the budget. If we incur more costs than the budget, it is not good for the organization. Or we could say decrease of income. If our income is less than the budget, then it is not a good thing. So this good variance is also called favorable variance. Or we use the shortcut F for this one. And the bad variance is called adverse. Or A. So we use F and A for favorable and adverse variance. Now, many students have problem in this chapter. That's why I wanted to make a video regarding variance. The reason that many students have problem is that they want to learn variance in a very difficult way. They want to learn the formulas. So it is not very easy to remember all of these formulas in this chapter. So what I want you to know is to understand the meaning of variance. Once you understand the meaning of variance, then you don't need to learn the formula to answer any question. So in this video, we will talk about what each variance means. So let's come to the variance types. So first we have material variance. Next we have labor variance. Variable overheads. Fixed overheads. And sales. So we have 5 types of variance. Then each of these variance is divided in different types. So let's look at the material variance first. Material variance can be divided in 2 parts. We can have price variance and usage variance. So what is a price variance? Price variance, ask this question: did we buy? So we will ask this question, that did we buy material cheap or expensive? Now if we are not talking about the quality here, so remember, forget about the quality. Sometimes if we buy material expensive, it will be a better quality. But in variance chapter we are not talking about quality. So here just say, did we buy material cheap or expensive? We bought them cheap, remember, it will decrease our cost. So that means it is a favorable variance. If we bought them expensive, that means it will increase our cost. As I explained above, increase of cost is adverse variance. So this is the question you should ask yourselves. We will work on questions in next chapter. Okay. Then come to the usage variance. Ask this question: did we use more or less? Now if we use more material, what will happen? The cost of the material will increase. So that means it will increase the cost. It will give us adverse variance. Now if we use less, it will decrease the cost. So decrease of cost would be a favorable variance. So in price variance, we have to ask ourselves the question, that did we buy it cheap or expensive? If expensive, adverse. Cheap, favorable. In usage variance, did we use more or less? If we use more, it decreases the cost, increases the cost, so it is an adverse variance. If we use less, it decreases the cost, it is a favorable variance. Next, let's come to the labor variance. Okay, so what is the next variance? Is labor. So the first variance is rate variance, and the second one is efficiency. Now rate variance is exactly the same as price variance. The way to calculate it is exactly the same. Only the name is different. So what is the question you should ask? The question is, did we pay